Welcome to today's Explainer. Right now, it's August 10, 2026, and the global football transfer market is going absolutely crazy. We're talking about a total domino effect. We've got Rodri's massive move triggering panic buys, Ronald Araujo making a shock switch, and away from all the money, a truly heartbreaking WAFCON elimination for the Nigeria Super Falcons. Let's dive right in and see how one single move in this wild market triggers a desperate scramble somewhere else.
Here is our agenda for today. First, the midfield domino effect. Second, Villa targets a Madrid star. Third, Liverpool solves their defensive crisis. And finally, the Super Falcons' WAFCON heartbreak. Let's get right to it.
Section 1. The midfield domino effect. City's post-Rodri era. Let's start with the absolute biggest domino falling today.
It's fascinating how this transfer ecosystem actually works, isn't it? So Barcelona is extremely confident they're landing 30-year-old Rodri, basically financing their improved bid by selling Ferran Torres to PSG. But Manchester City boss Enzo Maresca, he's not just sitting around waiting. He is completely rebuilding City's midfield with youth. He's already grabbed Elliot Anderson, and now his target is 18-year-old Lille prodigy Ayoub Bouadi. This kid just had an unbelievable season for Lille and even starred at the World Cup at just 18.
But man, the sheer financial commitment required for an 18-year-old is just staggering. Lille slapped an £85 million valuation on Bouadi, which is right around 100 million euros. Negotiations are moving incredibly fast, though. City is working hard to negotiate that down, hoping to lock in a final package between 70 and 80 million euros. If they pull it off, we're looking at City pushing their summer spending to around £200 million for just two young midfielders.
The really crucial point here is the urgency. Transfer expert Fabrizio Romano confirms Bouadi and his camp already have a full agreement on personal terms with City. And get this, the player wants the move immediately. Not next year, now. Maresca desperately wants him integrated before the Premier League kicks off against Bournemouth on August 23rd. Since personal terms are totally done, it literally just comes down to City and Lille hammering out the payment structure.
Section 2. Villa targets Madrid star, rebuilding the attack. Let's see how this domino effect builds into another massive Premier League strategy over at Aston Villa.
Talk about a dynamic, aggressive strategy from Unai Emery in the Villa hierarchy. After selling Morgan Rogers to Chelsea for a British record £117 million, they are definitely not letting that cash just sit in the bank. They've smashed their club record for Yohan Monzambi, secured João Gomez, brought in Alejandro Garnacho on loan, signed Modou Keba Cissé, and are on the verge of landing Matteo Ruggeri. They are heavily reinforcing, which makes total sense given they have a grueling Champions League campaign and a UEFA Super Cup clash against PSG coming up fast.
But the absolute crown jewel of their attacking strategy right now, Endrick. Villa is weighing up a super ambitious loan swoop for the 20-year-old Real Madrid forward. Endrick spent the second half of last season at Lyon and put up some fantastic numbers, 8 goals and 8 assists in 21 appearances. Emery knows that just relying on Tammy Abraham and young Brian Majoko for depth isn't going to cut it for the Champions League. A player with Endrick's international pedigree could perfectly elevate Villa's frontline alongside Ollie Watkins.
Section 3. Liverpool solves defensive crisis. Araujo arrives. Shifting gears entirely over to Merseyside, where Liverpool's transfer strategy isn't about ambitious expansion at all, it's a straight-up emergency reaction.
You have to look at the sheer scale of the defensive nightmare manager Andoni Iraola is facing. It is unprecedented. First, Ibrahima Konate bolts for Real Madrid. Then Joe Gomez picks up a muscle problem. Teenage defender Giovanni Leone is out with a serious knee injury. Connor Bradley is sidelined, and Jeremy Jacquet is still lacking fitness. This decimated backline literally left captain Virgil van Dijk as the only fully fit senior center back on the roster. They were so desperate they had to play an 18-year-old academy prospect in their recent preseason friendly. They needed elite help, immediately.
Enter Ronald Araujo. The 27-year-old Uruguayan international has officially joined Liverpool on a season-long loan from Barcelona. Now, despite winning 8 major honors over at the new camp, he struggled for regular minutes last season. But more importantly, he took a mental health break in late 2025 to recover from depression. He's fully focused now, and he clearly sees this fresh start in the Premier League as exactly the move he needed to make for himself.
And you've got to hand it to Liverpool. The financial terms here are incredibly shrewd. There is no initial loan fee. Instead, they cover Araujo's wages in full, and Araujo actually accepted a pay cut just to make it happen. Plus, the option to buy him permanently next summer is set at £47.14 million. It's a complete win-win. Liverpool gets urgent, elite defensive cover next to Van Dijk, and Araujo gets the fresh start he clearly desired.
Section 4. Super Falcons WAFCON Heartbreak. The End of an Era. For our final segment, we are stepping away from the financial dominoes of European clubs to ground this explainer in the emotional, high-stakes reality of international tournament football.
It is just a harsh, devastating reality for Nigerian football fans today. Over in Casablanca, the defending champions, the Nigeria Super Falcons, have been eliminated from the WAFCON by Cameroon. A single 19th-minute goal by Miriam Mave Naju Wamin was the deciding factor. And it wasn't for lack of trying. Nigeria totally dominated much of the latter stages of the first half and pressed relentlessly after the restart, but they just could not break through Cameroon's resolute defense. Their goalkeeper even made a crucial point-blank save in the second half to seal the deal.
To truly understand the gravity of this loss, you have to look at their history. The Super Falcons are basically royalty in this competition. They had reached the knockout stages at every single centralized edition of the tournament. Back in 2022, they faced Cameroon at this exact same quarterfinal stage and beat them 1-0. So, to enter this tournament as the defending champions and have the tables completely turned on them, it is a stunning blow that abruptly ends their title defense.
And this leaves us all with one monumental question. By failing to reach the semifinals, Nigeria has officially lost out on their automatic qualification ticket for the 2027 World Cup in Brazil. They were chasing a record-extending 10th appearance, and now that path is incredibly complicated. From City's massive midfield investments to Nigeria's World Cup dreams hanging by a thread, the landscape of global football has completely fractured today. How will these teams pick up the pieces tomorrow?